Why does your shoulder hurt more at night and what can you do about it? That is a topic for today's video. But firstly, a little quip that made me smile while I was putting this together. And now I'm confident that AI has got minimal empathy and understanding for the human pain experience. I wanted to see if it could add a little extra zing to the plan for this video, and this is what it suggested that I start with. If your shoulder pain gets worse at night, you are not imagining it. Well, here are some facts. There is absolutely no chance in the world that you are imagining being woken up multiple times in the night by radiating pain and the excruciating discomfort that comes with trying to perform the simple act of turning over in bed. I promptly lost my respect for AI on this subject and decided to bin it off and go it alone. And you are certainly not alone if you have got nocturnal shoulder pain, because research shows that up to 93% of people with certain shoulder problems experience it. So here we go. In simple terms, what do we know about night pain and what does the science tell us? And most importantly, what can you do to start getting better sleep? Night pain is particularly fiendish because when you are in a rehabilitation program, recovery from an exercise stimulus becomes more important than ever. And the most impactful recovery tool in your arsenal is consistently getting 7 to 8 hours of solid, high quality sleep every night. So when your nagging shoulder pain keeps waking you up, you are getting stuck in something of a vicious cycle. Now, before I go into the reasons why night pain happens, it is important to know that researchers can't fully answer that question just yet. There are multiple proposed mechanisms, whether they be mechanical, inflammatory, neurophysiological, but none of them can fully explain all cases. So with this in mind, and before we carry on, serious night pain is no joke, and therefore you should seek professional advice if pain at night is constant, unremitting, and consistently painful at the same level. If pain is waking you up multiple times every night, maybe you've had symptoms for more than 3 months, you've got significant shoulder stiffness or significant loss of range of motion, or you're starting to become fearful of using the shoulder. If those things resonate, there are signs that you might benefit from a conversation with someone who can investigate your needs individually and support you to implement an appropriate plan. If you're not sure, better to ask. Now, let's have a look at what might be happening. Think of the following as pieces of a puzzle, and we don't yet know how they all fit together, and even if we have all of the right pieces. So what do we think we know? Well, a potential cause could be that mechanical compression increases at night. Biomechanical and imaging studies have shown that lying on the back or on the side can reduce the natural gravitational decompression and increase pressure on inflamed subacromial tissues. This extra pressure can start to switch on pain receptors that are already maybe feeling a little bit sensitive. Number 2, inflammation maybe behaves differently at night when your body's anti-inflammatory hormones naturally drop. Whilst shoulder-specific evidence is limited, it's a reasonable hypothesis that the normal swelling and irritation around the shoulder could become more noticeable. So this is one reason why you might feel fine-ish during the day and then struggle the moment that you try to rest. Number 3, sleep reduces distraction and pain can feel louder. When everything is quiet, your brain has fewer distractions and internal sensations, including pain, can feel more intense. And that's a pretty normal effect of how the nervous system works, and research has shown this consistently across different shoulder disorders. Number 4, tendons might be sensitive, not necessarily torn. In a large systematic review of rotator cuff injuries, 91 to 93% of patients reported night pain, and nearly all reported sleep disruption, even when the tear size or severity of the injury didn't match the pain level. So night pain isn't about how bad your MRI might look, it's about how irritated and sensitive those tissues are. Further to that, an interesting piece of research looked at melatonin. That's the hormone that regulates sleep. The researchers asked, could melatonin actually be involved in nighttime shoulder pain? And the answer was, maybe. They found that in patients with rotator cuff tears and adhesive capsulitis, higher levels of melatonin receptors and a pain-related ion channel called ASIC3 was present in certain shoulder tissues. They showed that melatonin at normal physiological levels can increase the activity of pain-related pathways in inflamed tissue. But, and this is important, this doesn't mean that melatonin causes your night pain. It simply means that it might contribute to how sensitized your shoulder feels at night. So that's what we do know. What about what we don't know? But we still don't fully know why night pain happens, and multiple theories remain incomplete. A recent study looked at all sorts of possible correlations, posture, strength, movement, and even special shoulder tests, and found that most of them did not reliably predict who would get night pain. In some ways, that's kind of reassuring, because your night pain doesn't mean something is severely damaged. It means that the area is sensitized, irritated, and potentially overloaded. So here's what you can actually do. First and foremost, one thing that I am 100% confident in is that night pain often decreases as people progress through a rehabilitation program. We have seen this in hundreds of cases with clients that we've worked with personally. They'll come to us with night pain and then they leave able to sleep through the night with no disruption. So that's good news. If you commit to a well-structured progressive shoulder rehabilitation plan, you can move to a better place. Now that's the big picture plan. So whilst you're working on that, here are some things that you can also try to improve sleep quality and duration so that you can bank that all-important recovery. Number one, adjusting your sleeping position. Now, no matter what condition you have, sleeping directly on the painful shoulder almost always makes things worse. Now, as a committed side and front sleeper, I know that this is not always the easiest thing to do, and it might seem like silly advice. But if we take the mechanical compression argument, doing something to try and reduce the pressure on irritated tendons and bursa could help. Supporting the elbow and forearm with a pillow if you're lying on your back is one option, unless you're a snorer, and then it won't be your shoulder pain that is waking you up, but a sharp elbow in the ribs if you cohabit your bed. If you sleep on the opposite side, hugging a pillow under the affected arm might help to stop it from collapsing forwards. That's another thing you can try. Number two, we can also try to reduce evening irritation. As best as you can, try avoid heavy or repetitive shoulder activity in the 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Irritated tissue becomes more sensitive at rest, and calming things down a little earlier might help your nighttime symptoms. This is generally good bedtime routine advice regardless of whether you've got shoulder pain. Just wind down, down-regulate, do it properly, and give yourself the best opportunity to sleep well. Let's talk about heat or ice, and actually whichever one feels better for you. There is no magic temperature that we need to aim for on this one. If your shoulder feels stiff, heat might give you better relief, and use ice if it's perhaps feeling hot or inflamed. On the latter, your body temperature actually needs to drop in order to aid the process of falling asleep. So whilst ice is an analgesic and can therefore help pain relief, cold exposure, either in this form or in a cold shower potentially, could also add some other benefits. And this again would fall as part of a general sleep hygiene strategy that may have some subsidiary benefits rather than being something which is evidenced by the scientists specifically for nocturnal shoulder pain. It's just an extra idea. Number four, gentle pre-sleep mobility routine. A gentle little shoulder mobility work prior to going to bed, especially if you've been sedentary during the day or you've spent the last 90 minutes crumpled into the sofa with impeccably poor posture. Some massage, either using a ball, a roller, or hands-on, if you can convince your partner, could be a nice little addition. The game here is to mobilize it, calm it down, don't irritate it. Number five, modify your training. If you are finding that certain exercises or training sessions are flaring your night pain, it's not a sign to stop training. It might just be that you need to adjust it. Reducing volume, intensity, or changing the movement patterns could help you to walk a better line between enough and not too much. Night pain can feel scary, it can be discouraging, but it doesn't mean that your shoulder is completely broken or beyond repair. The research shows that it's often a mix of inflammation, sensitized tissue, mechanical compression, and your body's nighttime physiology. And whilst the science hasn't cracked every piece of the puzzle yet, we know enough that can help you get back in control. So if you want to get started on understanding your shoulder pain, take the free assessment, which you can find linked in the description. Our whole approach is built on evidence, clarity, and restoring confidence in your shoulder. If you haven't done it already, like and subscribe to the video. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.